Hi friends, welcome to SNCA Study Club, a platform for CA final students. We are moving towards the 19th question, A question, which is stating that the superannuation cum pension fund of the employee of a company was under the separate trust. Both the company and the trust were under the same management. The auditor who was auditing the accounts of the company as well as the trust noted some irregularity in the operation of the trust and commented upon those irregularities in the confidential report given to the trustee, but did not mention about these irregularities in his report. So, in this case, we have to determine whether the auditor is guilty of professional misconduct, right? So, here what is happening? There is a company and the superannuation fund plus pension fund was under the control of the trust. That is, it was under the supervision of the trust. The company and as well as the trust is under the same management. Auditor has been appointed. That is, the same person has been appointed as the auditor of the company and as well as the trust. And auditor identified some irregularities in the operation of trust, and the same auditor has commented upon that irregularity in the confidential report. Confidential report which has been issued to the trustee. Plus, but at the same time he has failed to mention the same in the report of annual accounts. So, what is happening here? He has been identified some material misstatement or he has identified some irregularity, but which was not disclosed in the financial statement, but he has identified the same. He has disclosed that irregularity to the trust through the confidential report but not to the audit report. Okay, so the main fact that has been committed by him is that he has failed to disclose the same, which was not disclosed in the financial statement. So we have to check whether he is guilty of professional misconduct. Did you getting any clause which is similar to the same case? So in the given case, the identified irregularity is not provided or it has been not shown in the books of accounts or the financial statement. So which is their clause? Yeah, clause 5. Part 1, second schedule. First of all, you have to explain the same. CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he fails to disclose a material fact known to him, but which is not disclosed in the financial statement. Disclosure is necessary to make the financial statement misleading. Okay, so the information have to be what? Something material. If the information is not disclosed, it is making the financial statement as what? Misleading. Okay, so it is required to disclose. So in the given case, auditor had to determine whether such a disclosure is necessary or not, and it is depends upon the materiality of the irregularity. So next, explain the question. Question: auditor identified irregularity not disclosed in report, that is not issued qualification to the audit report, right? Qualifications. Then see conclusion, whether he is guilty of professional misconduct or not. We have to determine whether such irregularity or amount involved in the irregularity is material or not. Determine what we have to determine: amount involved in irregularity, material, not material. In case if it is material and the same is not disclosed by the auditor, in that case auditor will be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. In this case, not guilty of professional misconduct, right? So first of all, we have to explain which is the relevant clause. Clause 5, Part 1, second schedule, which is stating that CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he fails to disclose a material fact known to him, but which is not disclosed in the financial statement. Disclosure of which is necessary to make the financial statement is not misleading and he is concerned in his professional capacity. So the same is happening here. That is, he has identified some irregularity, he is not making the disclosure in the audit report. Then in the question we have to determine whether such an irregularity is material or not. If it is material and the same is not disclosed by the auditor, he will be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. Right? We are moving towards the 19th B question. Here what is happening? XYZ, a firm of chartered accountant, received 2 lakh in Jan 2015 on behalf of the client who is going abroad and deposited the amount of their bank account so that they can return the money to the client in July 2016 when he comes to India. This is the question which is stating that in this XYZ, a firm receiving money from the client. The client is going abroad. What has been done by XYZ firm? They deposited the amount in their bank account, not his bank account, in their bank account. We have to with an intention of returning or making the repayment of the money when he returns to India. This is the question. So here we have to determine whether he is guilty of professional misconduct. Which is the relevant clause here? A, B, C. Which is the relevant clause? It is stating that CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he fails to keep the money of his client other than fee, remuneration or money to be expended within a reasonable time to a separate bank account or to use within the specified time period. Which is that clause? Clause 10, part 1, second schedule, which is stating that CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he fails to keep the money of his client other than fee, remuneration or money to be expended into a separate bank account. So here what XYZ is doing? Explain the question. Here XYZ, who received money from the client, is making the deposit of that money into their bank account and not to separate bank account on behalf of the client. So here what is the conclusion? XYZ firm is deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. This is the answer. I hope you cleared with this. So first of all, indicate the clause, then examine the then again state the question, and the last one is the conclusion. Now we are moving towards the next question, that is 19C. JJ, a practicing chartered accountant engaging himself as a part-time finance manager of quick return securities. He is of the view that the both functions are independent. He need not to make permission from the institute. We have already discussed the clause many times. There was a lot of question that is asking the same cases, or they are interpreting the same cases. So here first of all we have to indicate relevant clause. B, we have to indicate the question, and C, we have to indicate the conclusion. Here what is happening? Chartered accountant who is practicing engage himself as part-time, that is he is engaged in an employment, that is part-time finance manager in a company, and chartered accountant is of the opinion that he is practicing in one side and he is part-time finance manager in another company, and he is not appointed as an auditor of that company, so it is not affecting the independence. So in this case, whether chartered accountant is guilty of professional misconduct or not, it is clear from the fact that they has not obtained permission from the council. So which is the relevant clause? Clause 11, part 1, first schedule, right? Which is stating that CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he engages in any business or occupation other than the professional chartered accountants unless otherwise or obtaining the permission of the council. So here what is happening? First indicate the clause, then question. What is happening here? Chartered accountant who is in practice has engaged himself as a part-time finance manager in a company, and he is of the opinion that this is not affecting his independence, and he has not obtained what? SAP. That is, in the given case, the concerned chartered accountant has not obtained specific approval and as well as prior permission of the council, which is required. That is, council is not prohibiting a member of the institute to engage in any other profession, but the same can be done only after obtaining the permission of the council, for which general and as well as specific permission has been granted by the council to provide a basis with respect to filing such an application with the council. Okay, so here what is happening? The concerned chartered accountant has not obtained specific approval and prior permission of the council. It is required to obtain specific approval and prior permission where the concerned chartered accountant engages in any business or occupation for which general permission is not granted by the council. So in the given case, concerned chartered accountant is guilty of professional misconduct. This is the answer. So here we completed what? Question 19, 19A, 19B and 19C. Okay.